How does the PGx software program work? PGx software meets the needs of labs that want to offer clients cutting-edge pharmacogenomic interpretation without personally bearing the cost of the necessary tools and personnel to do so. This version of the software allows you to upload up to 20 patients. In order to avoid errors, certain fields must be filled. These include the accession number, genotyping information, the report format type, most clients request 3 different formats, renal function, tobacco use, and alcohol intake. You will also be asked to indicate if a second report is desired if there is ambiguous haplotype data. To achieve the most comprehensive and predictive report, it is recommended that you complete the form as thoroughly as possible. We also recommend you download the patient medication list from our website. Including all medication the patient is currently taking is vital. For example, here we see patient 1. This patient's report shows 2 drug identifiers, D0392 and D0523, because this patient is on propranolol and warfarin. Patient 2's report includes the drug identifier D0457. This patient is on tamoxifen. Our third patient's report includes 4 drug identifiers, D0121, D0130, D0133, and D0158. This patient is on a regimen of desipramine, diazepam, digoxin, and enalapril. Although certain information is not required, the inclusion of 3 items will enable us to create a more accurate report for your patient. These items are medications that have been problematic, drug allergies, and the patient's brief medical history. For example, patient 2 is allergic to drugs in the sulfa group. The next slide shows 4 items we need you to include in order to avoid triggering an error in the program. The first is the patient's renal function status. In most cases, you will enter a 1. In cases of diminished function, decimals can be used, such as 0.8 for 80% of function, 0.6 for 60% of function, and so on. The second item to note to avoid error is the patient's tobacco use. For a non-smoker, enter a 1. If the patient is a smoker, enter a 2. The third item is alcohol intake. Enter a 1 if the patient is a male consuming less than 21 alcohol units per week with no more than 4 units in a given day, or a female consuming less than 14 alcohol units per week with no more than 3 units in a given day. This category also indicates a patient having at least 2 alcohol-free days per week. Enter a 2 for all cases where consumption is higher than the definitions of designation 1. Finally, we ask that you always indicate if you require a second report be generated in cases with ambiguous haplotype data. We recommend that you enter a 1 here to indicate you do not want a second report generated in this situation. If you do not, enter a 2. Please keep in mind that if you do not request a second report, only the small activity for NA2T and CYP2D6 will be reported. As noted earlier, we do require that you include the demographic and genotyping information for every patient. Genotyping information is unique for each patient, but it is not required that you upload the information in any specific order. Most genotypes do not require any unique orientation format. The exceptions are triallelic SNPs and A through T and C through G SNPs. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us.